Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Try to get on just a couple of minutes ago.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was hoping that wasn't me, that I did something wrong. So,
I I don't think so. Because I know a week ago on my AM 360 program, a week ago Saturday, I was on prior to while the other show was going on. It kicked me off and it would not let me sign back in.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a technical problem, I guess with the system. It
Hmm.
was like I wasn't able to start my presentation until about 20 minutes after the hour I'm supposed to start.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem with Zoom. I have been bumped off before, but I've been able to come right back in. I've also
Yeah.
had, I think everybody has this issue of every now and then, I guess it's based on the number of people that are accessing it, that thumper thing, the thing going round and round,
Hmm.
will hit you. And for like 15 to 20 seconds, it's like you're gone, even though you're looking at your screen and you're still there
Hmm.
watching the thing go round and round, but everybody else thinks that you're gone.
Mm.
So I've had that happen a few times.
Mm.
It's always funny to hear people going, well, I guess think he must have dropped off. I don't know what happened to it. He was
Yeah.
talking, now he's gone. I'm
And he's
listening
gone.
to it, but I can't say, I really can't say
Yeah.
anything because I'm not really connected. Cool. This technology is. Assalamu alaikum, Imam Adam BI.
Alaikum assalam.
How's it going, my brother?
I'm doing good, man. It's just another day in the wilderness, brother.
Walaikum assalam, brother.
Alaikum assalam. Yeah, everything's going good.
Good. Good to hear that. Just another beautiful but very warm day in the semi-paradise of Dallas, Texas.
Yes, it's getting warm on this end too, man.
So I think it's like this almost everywhere right now because I was reading a report this morning about South England, southern part of England or Great Britain. Uh, they're basically one day away from drought conditions.
Mm,
Mm.
And the
mm,
last thing you think about when you think about England is problems with there being enough water.
exactly.
They're actually talking about communities running out of water in the southern part of their country.
Seems like the the effects of colonialism is hitting
That's part of it. Yeah, I mean
them.
that's very much part of it. The other part of it though is the realization that you have to change the way that you live.
Hmm.
As certain other things, environmental things happen, you have to be adaptive. That's what human beings are. We're very adaptive. It's the only reason we're still here.
Right.
Is that we're the Khalifa. We're the ones that can think through and solve the problems. But that and the ability to sacrifice, and there's a lot of people who don't even know how to spell sacrifice. They're not giving up nothing. They're looking at you, waiting for you to give up something before they give up anything.
Hmm.
And it's going to be a problem. It's a problem. I was talking to Sister Cheryl Sutta, doctor, Honorable Dr. Cheryl Sutter about California because, both my sons live in California now. I'm probably going to be living there next year myself. And the issues with water, the long-term dependence that the state, along with Arizona and Nevada and New Mexico to a certain extent, have had on the Colorado River. And those two huge lakes, Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the two largest lakes in the United States, outside the Great Lakes, and the dam that's there for water. Or I can't. I don't know exactly how long that Hoover Dam has been there. I think it was, what? I guess it was Herbert Hoover was president when they built it. Maybe that's why they call it Hoover Dam. But I think he was the president when they built it. That's close. That's 100 years, close to 100 years, and nobody's had to think twice about water usage because of that. I mean, you live next to the ocean. I mean, these are people that basically live where you can pick up a rock and throw it into the ocean, and they have an infinity pool.
Well, they had
So
so good, they didn't think about desalination plants.
all of that, yeah. There's only one on the entire West Coast, I think.
Right. So being next to the ocean don't mean nothing if you don't have
Exactly.
desalination plant.
Exactly. But if you want to get wet, you can just go dip your feet and get knee deep in the water. You don't have to have a swimming pool at your house.
Now you're dealing with lifestyle, brother.
That's what I'm talking about.
But again, that's the effects of colonialism.
True. As long as you're making it on the backs of somebody else, you don't worry about nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it's a wild scene. Walaikum assalam, brother.
I'm just tuning in. I was thinking just a couple of days ago about these data centers and the large amounts of water that they need.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, I was in a struggle in Birmingham, Alabama, dealing with the water system there. I've mentioned it. I think I've mentioned it before. Uh, the quality water system before the mayor Harrington had to leave office because of health. He went to every neighborhood association, and Birmingham has kind of a sophisticated neighborhood association system. But he went to every neighborhood uh, seeking to get the neighborhoods to agree to sell the system to private ownership. Um, and since the rejection of that, there were some other factors that took place. But I got to thinking that the citizens of Birmingham began to suffer because of circumstances with billing and so forth. Uh, I looked upon it as being a retaliation against the grassroots movement not to sell the system. And now I understand they're having more issues, um, possibly moving towards eventually selling the system to private ownership. I don't know, but I know that these data systems require a lot of water, and it's going to be problematic going into the future because of that, in my opinion. I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah,
you.
definitely. And I mean, everybody sees that. And it's the private systems. I mean, private anything ain't gonna work. Look at the prisons.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah. There are some ubiquitous systems that everybody has to depend on that you cannot privatize and
Yeah.
should not privatize.
Yes. I agree.
And utilities is one of those. Utilities should not be privatized. Standard education K through 12 should not be privatized unless somebody wants to spend their own money, like a religious group like us, to do something that's different than the system. But the basic system should not be run by private industry. And I agree with Adam on the prison system as well. Should not be run by private industry. And as far as the data centers, the technology exists for them to recycle the water that they use. It's an investment up front to put in the filter systems that as you use water to run your plant, that whatever is not lost in the process simply goes back to this filter system and is reused again. It's there for them to use it. It's used in the Middle East where they have data centers. It's used in parts of China for data centers. The technology exists. Whether or not they want to make the investment in that, or they simply want to dump that cost on the consumers, that's up to our elected officials.
Yeah, that's
To
that's the issue, and
That's the issue.
yeah,
oftentimes, corrupt local officials, they go along with the program.
well, that plus the fact that most of the elected officials that I know,
They don't know.
when you start talking about data centers and how they
Yeah,
operate and all that, their
yeah,
eyes start revolving in their head.
yeah.
They don't know as much as I do, and I know very little.
Well, nah, brother, they know. They know.
Adam, some of these guys, man, 20 minutes into a presentation on data centers, they're asleep.
No, because they've already been bought off.
Maybe that may be part of it,
They
but the
when the
other
man
part of
come to
it
you with
is,
some money to do it, they know.
yeah. Well, you have a point, but I'm saying that some of them have trouble turning on their computer. Technology has passed them by.
Well, but they go with the money.
And they have assistants paid to look into those kind of things.
I agree, but their systems can get paid off too,
That's
Exactly.
true.
and I think that happens quite often as well. If you have somebody who's advising you, who's got a master's degree or PhD in a certain area, and they're supposed to be the one keeping you up to speed, and they're feeding you information that is faulty,
Yeah,
right? Or telling you something else that, hey, this is pretty much already a done deal. So and so's already agreed to back it, and they're going to contribute $50,000 to their reelection campaign. We need to get on board, which feeds into what Adam was saying. I mean, yeah, you get paid. But communities also, you got to have the ability to vote these people out of office. You can't, you shouldn't be waiting until your electric bill triples to be upset.
Well, just like in Fayetteville, right? The city and the county is trying to approve some data centers, and they're getting. They finally there was a movement, and they said, "Well, let's do a moratorium and find out more information." That's the first thing they did. But we have an African American mayor. Well, majority of the city council African American, and then on the county level, we don't have as many, but we have out of the county leaders, we have 3 African Americans. So in this 3 years ago, there was a big movement to change this charter of the city of Fayetteville because there were just too many. As this conservative Caucasian who has a newspaper said, there was just too many people of color. So when I read that stuff, I said, "What people of color? What?"
yeah, it's crazy.
That he couldn't say what he wanted to say.
Too many niggas running the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he defaults to people of color. All right. So now the mayor had been in battle. Now, because the mayor is for data centers, whatever. They figured that African Americans go along with it. And I know the mayor's been on it for years, but I also understand that he's been bought off.
Yeah. We call them in Birmingham Negro managers.
Yeah. So he lost my support on that cause. And don't want to hear it. Because they want to build it. Then they talk about economic development.
There
What
is none.
economic development?
There is none.
Especially for when you deal with communities,
Right.
Yeah.
ain't none. Bro, I'm siding with the progressives around here to shoot that stuff down, man.
Yeah, I don't even know why you have to be a progressive to be against it. I just think you have to look at your bank account.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the
And-
group. Yeah, I'm looking at the group that's out here,
Right.
and they're known as progressives, and so now there's a controversy between African Americans and progressives
Why?
because they fall on the national. When I heard the term establishment Democrats, what in the heck is an establishment Democrat? I know they got that from the national stuff, and I'm the president of the Black Caucus of the Democratic Party. So naturally, I said this probably my last year because I ain't going on with that stuff. I couldn't give a hoot about what do they call them? Anybody establishment Democrats. That sounds like establishment Negro to me. Same deal.
Yeah. Mm. I'm concerned, that the political environment is such that um, they don't really have the will. When I first started really paying attention to political action, it was when I moved to Birmingham, and the politically active or the socially active individuals, they come into a construct and they come into it to deal with the status quo arrangement rather than having a independent approach to the political activity. And when I moved to Selma and started working with Imam uh, and attorney Yusuf Abdul Salam, I saw he had an approach that was really based in his understanding of the Quran. Um, he had what he called a deputy council, basically elders in the community that he would meet with and take counsel with in terms of their input into how he should manage his seat on the city council of Selma. And again, uh, what is kind of troubling me is that we have, because of the Quran and the example of Prophet Muhammad, we have a better knowledge foundation in terms of social architecture, leadership, organization. The potential is there, but in terms of our use of it, uh, we, by and large, have not organized ourselves, um, given a lot of attention to these broken systems in the public sphere, but not organizing with what we've been given to to have a strategy for I'm going to say survival, and then after survival, what do you call it? Advancement. Right? The season of survival mode seems to have appeared on the scene here with Trump, and so there's certainly still areas of uh, productivity that we could get involved in, but we're not really organized for progress as far as I see in terms of going into the future. Economically, we don't have a sense of the critical issue that you have to have a public that's sensitive like other publics. The Jews, if they can't produce it, they don't use it. And there are other people groups that have this kind of sensitivity where you have an obligation on yourself to actively look for businesses that you can support, and that's not an environmental influence that I hear in the associates of Imam Muhammad. You know, and those were the two areas that he focused on was education, and at the beginning it was education and jobs, production of jobs. It later developed into zakat equals the Muslim economic system, and even that has not been. I have not heard that talked about among the what do you call it, the resourceful men and women, particularly in business. And I'll stop there.
All right, so I want to welcome Imam Talib, Brother Hassan, and it is 20 after the hour. Let's go ahead and Imam Tariq, if you would please open us up this morning.
Did you say something to me, Edward?
Yes, I just want you to formally open us up this morning, if you
Oh,
don't
hold on,
mind.
just give me one, no more than 5 seconds here.
Okay.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
I mean, I want to say something really quick, and then other people who have not had a chance to speak this morning, introduce themselves, can do so. And it really kind of addresses initiatives within our community and in areas that we have great need. So the first thing I want to talk about is education. And we know that we have had basically one primary organization over the last decade or so that has been focused on raising money for our schools, and that's 150. So there is a second group that I now know the names of 2 or 3 members of this particular group that is also focused on education. That's called the Collective. And my understanding is that over the past few years, they have raised somewhere in the neighborhood of $6 million with a goal of raising $10 million to be used for either, and I want to say rehabilitation, that's the word I heard, and I need to get more information on this. Rehabilitation of some existing buildings that were either public schools or part of an education system in Maryland for the development of schools there. Now, whether these schools are just going to be for local population or these schools are going to be for Islamic youth in our community from around the country to come and be educated there. I can't answer that question. I need to learn more. I was invited to their, and I'm going to say annual meeting because it's the only one I've heard of. Last year, I did not attend. I just didn't know enough about the organization to, at the last minute, put to the side everything else I was doing and go for a long weekend to meet with them. But in the last few months, I've heard more and more about them and what they are trying to do. So that's one thing. And I don't know if any of you know about the collective or anything like that.
I would like to offer Imam Muhammad Abdul Alim.
Yeah, he's a part of it.
He collaborates with me, and
Yeah,
if you like, I could invite him to the Graceline meeting.
yeah. I mean, I've heard him. That's part of where I got some of the information that I'm sharing is from one of his presentations. So, and the other people that I know that are a part of it are people that I have great respect for in our community. So I'm sure it's pretty legit. Again, I don't know all the inner workings of it, how it's set up and any of that, but at least we know that there's something happening out there to help 150 toward this goal of strengthening or even building out our schools. So that's one thing. The other thing, and it's in relation to us being in a position to do business with each other or what our needs are, whatever that may be, there is an initiative started to catalog or create a guide for businesses within our community where if you need something, whether it's a restaurant to dine at, it's a clothing place to buy clothes, it's a hardware store, it's a auto repair shop, anything and everything that we run into in our day-to-day lives and we have needs, somebody has started putting together kind of the quote unquote yellow pages for our community. That's something that I've always said was needed because half the time I don't know where to go. If I got an electrical problem in my house and need an electrician, there's one brother in Dallas who's African American that I know who's an electrician. And I will not call his name. He came to my house to do some electrical work. He had to borrow my ladder because he didn't have one. So there has to be more than him. And we need to know in our community those that we can support for the things that we need done and services, anything, right? Doctors, dentists, whatever the case may be. And it should be at our fingertips like everybody else has stuff at their fingertips. So somebody's actually started that particular initiative and I wish them well on being able to gather that information. So Brother Adam, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I do, brother. Why does that have to be a national initiative?
It doesn't. It doesn't. We don't have anything. Somebody's trying to do something.
But I'm saying, are you sure in local areas there's not some effort to identify businesses in those local areas?
In Dallas, Texas, I can tell you the answer is no.
Well, they're
In
not
Houston, Texas, I can tell you the answer is no. In Austin, Texas, I can tell you that the answer is no. And I haven't ventured to look at San Antonio, but I would probably think that in San Antonio, the answer would be no.
So it's a Texas problem.
Well, I ran into the same problem when I was in San Diego, California, brother.
Oh, yeah,
Jacksonville,
the aggravating name was Texas.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Huh?
Jacksonville, Florida, same issue.
Well, then we need to encourage these local areas,
Yes,
if it's important to do that, to do that.
yes, I agree.
Yeah.
We don't need a national effort for that. We just need the encouragement.
But you know what, Adam, I understand what you're saying, but I can go on the internet and if I'm going to be in Atlanta and I want to eat kosher food, I can go on the internet and pull up all the kosher stuff that I want. And I live in Dallas, but hey, I'm gonna be in Atlanta for the weekend. Make sure that there's some kosher restaurants around where I'm gonna be. Bam, it's right there. I'm not saying that this has to be some overarching national effort like building a highway system. I'm just saying that if it starts local, I'm in favor of that. But it
Well,
should be easy for me to go to Milwaukee or Nashville and know exactly I'm going to be there tonight in the morning. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go have breakfast at an Islamic owned restaurant and probably somebody in our community
yeah,
and support them.
that's
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 all I want, a little
I
something like
understand,
that.
and
that's what we want.
you should be able to contact the masjid in Milwaukee to find that out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I want to, once
Well,
again, I agree. When I, and I've actually tried this thing, right? What you just said. I can call a masjid somewhere. And I did this in Los Angeles, largest masjid in LA that's a part of our community. I call them on a Thursday because I'm driving up. My nephew lives in Santa Monica. I'm driving up to see my nephew. I'm going to stop at the masjid, which I did for Juma on Friday. All right. I'm going to go by the masjid for Juma because I want to see it. I want to say I've been there, blah, 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 all that. And I just want to get some general information from them about the area, about, businesses, if I want to buy a gift for somebody, whatever, Islamic shops, whatever. Now, the person who answered the phone, the secretary, administrative assistant, whatever you want to call her, because the imam wasn't there and the assistant imam wasn't there. And there's nobody there for me to talk to except her. About 11 o'clock in the morning. She was the only one there. She doesn't know. But she can take my name and number and she can have somebody call me back. Nobody's called in 2 years.
okay.
And I'm sure she was 100% earnest, and I'm probably passed the message along. But that's not the business that our masjids are in. They should be more involved in that type of stuff, but that is not the business that our masjids are in. They get visited on Friday, and on the weekend for Talim, some folks come back. There's very little else going on. Sisters group meets whatever day of the week, whatever. That's it. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great if it started at that level. Because that's where your most correct information is going to come from. If it starts at that level with people who deal with each other every day, know exactly where the brother's shop is, know exactly how to get there from here. Probably know his employees, brother and sister so and so and so and so. That would be fantastic. If that's where it starts, that's where it starts. However it starts, I'm glad somebody's trying to get it started.
Well, it has to start there, but that's a problem because too many of us have bought the mentality that it's un-Islamic to talk about race. And I'm so tired of hearing about that, it's a shame.
Yeah, it's a miseducation, and
It's a rejection of, it's their way of rejecting what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did.
yeah,
That's basically what they're doing. And shedding shade on Imam Muhammad's leadership.
yeah,
And then you had the leaders of those communities now that are trying to appease that negative voice and do all they can to make sure they don't think they're that way also, unfortunately.
Well, I'm hopeful that this survival mode atmosphere that we're in now. I remember within the last 2 years finding out about in our history as African Americans about the Green Book when there was segregation and there were no places to to uh, to board, to live. There were no hotels or anything that would accept black folks. We had this green book that somebody did just what we're talking about and said, okay, in Houston you can go here to Miss McDaniels. She'll put you up. She has a boarding house facility, that sort of thing. And this is got to come from those people that know how to get things done. It's not it's not. Too often times the imams are used as a valve or excuse of not doing, but you have in terms of leadership, you've got formal leaders and you've got informal leadership. People who are resourceful know how to get things done, but they don't necessarily have a position of congressman or city council person or whatever, but they know how to operate to get things done. And my prayer every time the Republicans get in the office, oh Allah, help us to strike the ears of those people that know how to get things done, uh, to get us better organized. And I don't know. It may take some slaps on the ass to get the ball rolling. This is like I said, it's survival mode that we're in. Maybe this is what it's going to take for us to focus, because the bitterness of life will do that for us. Will sober us up, and pain has a way of getting our attention to try to relieve it.
It's funny that you mentioned survival mode. I was having a discussion with my ex-wife yesterday. So we're talking about, basically talking about my son. All these different episodes have happened to young men across the country recently. And the conversation kind of veered off in two different directions. One of them was economic. And if you just look at economics, just raw economics, the African American community, and probably this is a little blip since Trump was elected, especially what happened to a lot of women who were in the workforce. But if you take that 18-month period, this last 18-month period, out of the equation, the African American community compared to 75 years ago is thriving. I mean, literally every day is a holiday compared to 1950. But the leadership is different, and I'll get back to that particular question about leadership in the community. The other thing that came up was, and understand, my ex-wife is a highly educated woman who also happens to be an ordained Christian minister, right? She's a preacher. And out of her mouth came the following words: we keep waiting for the Muslims to do something to take a leadership role. What are y'all going to do?
That's interesting.
And it's not the first time I've heard that.
Yes, sir.
I hear that from a lot of my Bible thumping Christian first cousins and second cousins. and friends and all of that type of thing. First thing out of their mouth is the Muslims. Second thing out of their mouth is Panthers.
Mm.
What y'all gonna do? I said, but hey, tomorrow morning in Dallas, Texas, at Potter's House, St. John's Missionary Baptist Church, St. Paul, AME, so on and so forth. Y'all gonna have 7,500 to 15,000 people in every one of those institutions, singing, swaying, sweating. Y'all got the numbers.
But they don't have that
They don't
core.
have any. They don't have any leadership.
Yeah,
That's what she said.
yeah.
We ain't got no leadership either.
Yeah.
That's what I told
Yeah.
her.
That's
Yeah.
the problem.
I told her that same thing.
Yeah.
We are
Ain't no
leaderless as
leadership.
well.
Don't nobody want leadership no more. They don't want to follow nothing.
You don't want to
They
follow.
gonna
You don't
follow.
want to follow.
All they want to follow is themselves. That's it.
Yeah,
They ain't joining. They ain't joining with you to do nothing.
Nothing.
All right.
There's a gas that's been put in the air to
Hey,
where
look. Hey, look. This is what I told. I said I'm not getting on the front line and taking a bullet, but nobody who won't do nothing for themselves.
yeah, yeah.
Trust me, I would not be out there. If you're not willing to help yourself, don't call on me.
Well, the spirit of Imam Muhammad in his last address, Shared Freedom Space, he, he said, if you got two or three that you can work with, be happy. My God. If that's
You
the
work. You work with those that you can work with. I mean,
that's what he's
you look
saying.
you
Yeah.
you look at what we're doing here. I would tell you at its best, we've probably got 10 people that consistently show up for these calls, make contributions. And when I say contributions, I don't necessarily mean monetary contributions, but just make contributions in moving this process forward, in supporting it. And our I think one of the things that's going to change this process, even for us, is to rally behind a leader that's going to move this process to the next level. I mean, physically getting these 5,000 members, getting the survey done, getting the business plan done, putting all these things in motion where we have a turnkey facility, and to recognize that there is a plan, not a meet every Sunday plan, but a dedicate yourself to the process plan 24/7 to get this done. Every day you wake up, you moving the needle towards the next phase or the next part of the process, and leave everything else alone. I mean, one of the hardest things to do is to tell people, no, I'm not doing that because I am focused on XYZ. To say to people, my plate is full, I'm not dealing with that. Every time somebody calls, you running over here, you running over there, you think you're doing something and you ain't doing nothing. And I mean, we kind of lost that. We kind of lost that in and I don't want to have to go back to this, but we lost that when a decision, or when the decision was made by various individuals and groups that integration is okay. Let me send my child, I'm going to work my business so that my child can go to some of the best universities. That child goes, they finish, and they don't come back to lift up that which put them where they were. They're not doing that. And there's none of us, there none of us as a group, whether you Muslim, African American, or whatever you want to be, you're not doing anything for the future, for somebody else other than your selfish self. You make sure your clothes are clean, that you got the latest designer label, you got cars, you got the you go to the best of restaurants. You can't even cook food. You don't grow food. You don't. I mean, nothing. And this thing, I think, I don't know whether it was Edward or Michael. One of y'all said something about when that the Jews ask themselves before they buy something, who made this?
Yeah.
Who made that? You know, because if it's not made by one of us, I don't want it. If it's not being sold by one of us, let's say somebody else made it, but it's being sold by us.
Yes, sir.
They ain't gonna touch it. We don't have that sort of mindset, and it's gonna be a cold day in hell before we can get that back. There's too much competition out there right now.
Yeah.
Too much. I mean, I can't even name it all. And trust me when I tell you, I have literally had to say to myself and then put it into action. Do not get on Facebook. Don't get on TikTok. Don't get on Instagram, because as God is my witness, it will suck you down a hole. And you won't get nothing from it. I mean, absolutely nothing. Because they only give you, they don't give you any intelligence. They just give you a snippet of something. Just look at this real quick. It ain't going to take you long. Maybe 15 seconds, 20 at best. Then it makes you laugh. Sometimes it makes you cry. You know, and then you pass that nonsense on to somebody else as if you sharing something. They even call it sharing.
Mm-hmm.
As if you pushing something off to somebody else. And I mean, we just, I mean, straight talk. This is all, what we doing right now is all we got. And it's going to get to be old and tired if we don't do what it is that we set out to do, which is to get this credit union off the ground. And it's going to take some dedication, and I mean, I'll accept my part of the responsibility for it because I know how to do it and I could get it done. But what I'd have to do is have absolutely no distractions. I am not doing anything else but going out and going after those 5,000 members wherever I could find them, to get them to sign up to Graceline. And in fact, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you all or not. I know I sent some emails around to some folk, but I am asking us to change the membership application on our website so that all we want from you is your first name, last name, email address, city, and zip code. That's it. I don't care what your address is. I don't care because I'm not mailing you anything. What I want to do is have us to establish. Now, later on, when we're that close, when we reach, I don't know, I'm going to say 8,000 members, 10,000 members, and we need to do these surveys, and we want to know where people, we'll be in a posture where we can say to them, listen, we have now amassed 8,000 members of Graceline. It is time for us to pull out the survey. We are going to need certain information from you in order to get this done. And do that. But right now, I want to try to make things so easy for people that there's no excuse. And we've got the tools, we got the parts. I mean, this presentation that Omar is doing, I went back and took a look at the PowerPoint that he put together, what had to be at least 2 years ago. That thing is still spot on. And and for those that don't know, he's giving me permission to upload that onto the website. And I've already, I would tell you by this evening, I'll have the request finished for, I think it's going to Success. What is it? Success at, oh man, I forgot it already. But it's Success for Nonprofits or something like that, to ask them to change our website so that nobody is not surprised. I'm asking them to remove that first webinar that we put up and replace it with the presentation, with the PowerPoint presentation that Omar did. You know, and I'm going to have them upload some of these articles that I've been saving. Some of them I've sent to you all, others I've just been holding on to. So that when we talk about our website, we can be real specific to say to people, to say to them, I want you to go to our website and click on seminars and events, to click on personal finance. You know, I don't want you to just go to the website and just be kind of scrolling around, looking and seeing, and because that's going to get boring. But you go to personal finance and you see a whole slew of articles. All of them may not appeal to you, but there's going to be a lot of them there that will. And this is how I see us being able to gain people's trust. You can say to them, if you're in debt, go to our seminars and events and look at the financial freedom PowerPoint presentation that is there, and then register for the next class. I mean, that's real quick, something that you can say to people in 30 seconds or less, you know, other than just telling them, go to our website. For what? Everybody got a website. If you got a name, you got a website. If you got a name, you got a Facebook, you got an Instagram. What is it that's going to set us apart from all the noise that's out there? And that is getting into to get into their pockets, to be able to say to them, I know how to get you money, how to help you to save it, spend it. Every time you may think you want to blow it, I've got a program in place to help set you and your family towards your future. And somehow that's the message that we have to begin selling. Okay, because other than that, we putting together a good model, but nobody really knows about it. So I'm saying all this to say this. I am in the process of reducing myself down to pretty much nothing. I've got maybe I would tell you no more than 10 clients that I need to either finish up or start on with this avoid messy death. After that, I ain't taking no more. I'm not shutting it down, but I'm not taking any more. I'm going to take a look at my own personal stuff to see what it is that I want to continue doing, and that I have no time for, I'm cutting it off. I'm going to just go cold turkey and just cut it off. I want to do this so that my entire focus is going to be on getting this credit union open. And I would be satisfied just to get it approved. Approved would satisfy me. Getting it open would, I mean, I'd be on top of the moon. But if we can just get that letter saying that we are approved, I can walk away feeling satisfied. And the only way that I know to do that is to focus on it, is to concentrate on it and do absolutely nothing else so that my name becomes synonymous with getting this credit union open. Well, what's he doing? He's still working on that credit. He's still working on that shit. Yep, that's what I'm doing. And it's going to be the same process that I've been through for everything else that Allah has blessed to be successful in my life, even if I didn't get exactly what I want, even if it failed. I learned from it. And what I know that I need to be doing right now, if I'm serious about opening up this credit union, is to focus on it 110%. And that's all I'm going to be doing. And if I'm not doing that, I'm going to be going around in the same vein, going around to these masjids, even the ones that I attend, and let them know you all aren't going anywhere as long as you keep focusing on building a masjid. If you don't start thinking about business and what you can do to sustain this, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going to do nothing. You building, what did Allah say in Quran? They build masjids on sand. They got no foundation. All you got is a structure. But you don't have the support that you need to move this process forward, because you're not giving the people what it is they need, where they leave there feeling as if I've got to do more. I want to spend with my community. I want to help somebody else's business grow. I want to contribute to a fund that the masjid has set up to invest in stocks, invest in bonds. And these aren't people that's going to be, don't come to me with no riba crap. You don't even know what riba is. You don't know what riba is because you don't know what zakat is. Friday come and you put $2 in the box and then you think you done paid zakat. Please. We ought to be more like who was that? Was it Reverend Ike? He was a Christian preacher and used to go around when he preached. When they passed the collection plate around, it wasn't a solid plate. It was a fishnet. He literally passed around a fishnet in the church because he ain't want no change. He wanted cash. And that's fine. I'll donate all you want. But where is it going? What are you doing with it? that becomes the question. That's how we need to start talking about money, to talk to these communities, to our communities. The members need to start asking, what are you doing with the money that I'm giving you? Because I don't see it. I don't see the result of it. And don't tell me you building a masjid, that you trying to do something. Try, don't get it. I need to see some material showing. I need to know that the whole community is working towards the same goal. And if they're not doing that, you're not getting my money. You're going to get my zakat. But when it comes to that time when you as a community are ready for the members to step up because you want to invest in something, then I'm going to scrutinize that before you get $1. And I don't care what you say about me. Don't like me? Fine. Don't like me. But you still ain't getting my money. So what that gonna do you? You better off listening and following the directions that I'm trying to give you. Why? Because you can look at my record and see what it looks like. And I ain't no big boy. I ain't no big man. I ain't got no dozens or hundreds of properties anywhere. But what I have is commitment. What I have is heart. And Allah has placed that there, but you don't want to follow me because you don't like the way I talk to you. Because when I speak, I don't speak with a smile. And these may not be, what I'm offering may not be the qualities of a good leader. That's fine. If you think I'll support some other leadership that you like, but let me see what it's going to look like. I'm not going to invest in any foolishness. My continuing to invest in your product, which the only product you want to offer me, and at least 2 of the 3 masjids where I go, the only product they want to offer me is we want to build a masjid. Well, how are you going to sustain it? Well, look, we just want to get it built first. Okay. Good luck with that. They got a community here out in Maryland. Ali Khan Islamic Center. Someone donated 2 acres of land, gave it to them with the understanding that within 5 years, they want to see some broken ground that they're in the process of building. And I've seen the drawings. One of the brothers in there that I highly respect, Imam John Bilal II. He's got all kinds of skills, and one of his skills is that of an architect. And he's got some line drawings showing what the masjid would look like. And I've asked them, I've looked at the drawings, and I've asked them, where is the commercial component of this masjid? Because the floor drawings they're showing me, I see where it could be, but that's not where it is. And they know, because I've told them, until you get there, every time I come, I'm gonna pay my zakat. In fact, on Thursday, I put my zakat aside so that I can make sure that it's paid, and the majority of the time, I give it to them in cash. And if I put it on a card, I give them an additional 3% on the credit card, because I know that in general, a merchant fee every $100 that you give on a credit card, the masjid only sees 97. So you really ain't gave 100. You may think you have, but you've only given them 97 because that's all they get. So I'm encouraging all of us, if you use a card and you donate, and I'm just using the $100 number, you donate $100, put an extra 3 there. Because that's what, then you know you've given them their 100. Or if you don't do it that way, put it on a card and then put $3 in the basket. Because people got to see you giving zakat now. You can't just tell people that, they got to see you. You may think they ain't looking, but they looking. They want to see. Is he giving? Is she giving? But I know ain't none of us, and I think Edward has talked about this more than anything. And I'm gonna yield to you, Michael. But Edward has talked about this more than anybody. That we really not giving in zakat what we should be. You hear the 2.5%, but we don't quite understand 2.5% of what? It's your total assets. And that's for those Negroes that be living in them $1 million homes that are fully paid for. 2% of your total assets. So you think you got it going on? Zakat will test you. All right, Michael, I'm done. And I make no apologies.
No, you hit on some.
This-
You hit on some necessary points, and you hit on them with necessary energy. And that's why even if it affects me, and it probably will, the need for Allah's help to bring into our life what we need to sober up and really see what needs to be done and be committed. Uh, the test once or twice a year, we're told, Allah tells us, once or twice a year we're going to be tested. And generally it's something that's very difficult comes into our life. And the bitterness of that is designed for us to get our focus, in my opinion, get our focus right. Uh, we have a knowledge body and a spirit from Imam Muhammad. He has given us a knowledge body. Not only Ronald Shaheed, Imam Shaheed's books of those private sessions that Imam gave, but you can go to YouTube any time of the day. The words of people, presentations of Imam Muhammad. Um, there are others and one that stands out is Imam Rashad Abdul Rahman, in terms of supportive knowledge that supports that knowledge body of Imam Muhammad. Again, he gave us two focuses: education and jobs. And we're not getting that kind of reminders, because Allah tells us that the believers are to remind one another. What you just said, Imam Talib, is a reminder. You, you know that we have to. Well, I'm just going to say it like flat out. The Imam. No, let me go this way. The motivation to build a masjid is to go to heaven. That's coming out of the hadith. You help to build a masjid, you go to heaven. But we have a leadership body of knowledge that tells us, in our circumstances, we need utility, a place not just to have prayer, and you got a very few coming out, because they don't live around the masjid. For the dynamics of Islamic life has not been taught in a way to make us more practical in how we move. So we don't live around the masjid. That's an issue. Um, the utility you're paying for water and gas and lights and so forth. Uh, so why, as a people, what we were described as by the leader as being the striving poor, why shouldn't we have a space that gets more utility? And the first imam said, it's better to have a school and have a place in the school to make the salah. That would be supporting, the education along with our obligations to prayer. And Allah says that the whole earth is a masjid, so you don't need a particular building just for masjid. You know, uh, what you're saying is absolutely true. We need an economic component, and those with this mindset of just building masjids, they have to be they have to be as strongly challenged. And like you, I don't care if you like me or not. I know what the leader's intent was for us as striving poor. It was a strategic plan to get out of being poor. And we don't have many among the formal leadership that stay on this case, that we need to have the right sensitivities in order to progress. And I'll stop with that. Thank you.
Interesting comments from Sister Patricia in the chat for those who haven't taken a look at it. What you guys say, and especially you, Mom Talib, and your decision in part to work toward dedicating yourself, almost as if it's a full-time pursuit to getting credit union chartered and hopefully open so that you can be a part of that particular ceremony. It is something that when you talk about a nonprofit effort, it's typically something that's really difficult for a small group of people who don't have a boundless, let's say, expanse of resources to do. We don't have a staff. We are the staff. We don't have endless financial resources, that have been built up to pursue this, to just throw money at a problem. I mean, we really do have to use our intellect. We have to grow into this particular process, building a knowledge base. There's a tremendous amount of what my professors back in the 1970s used to call sweat equity. That is a part of this, right? And it's hard to measure the value of that sweat equity in a nonprofit situation. Ultimately, if you're creating a for-profit enterprise, you can get around to pretty closely hitting that sweat equity number on the head. It may take 2 or 3 years of sales and productivity growth and all of that, but you got to kind of get around it. You got to be pretty close to knowing the time that you put in, the expertise, what that's worth. So to dedicate yourself to something that is not that easy to put a number on is worthy of great respect for people that have knowledge. And I think that all of us that are steady contributors to this particular effort, we can actually take some solace. I don't like to use the word pride because that connotation is sometimes misread by people. I don't think pride in and of itself is a bad thing, but I just kind of leave it out of conversation because people take it different ways. But you can definitely take some satisfaction that you've been a part of an effort that is toward all that is good, trying to accomplish something for a community. So, kind of following up on what you were saying, I mean, to do a business plan, to actually complete, because we've done surveys, we have surveys collected, but for that number or those survey results, that business plan to be impactful and one that would be accepted, we have to hit those membership numbers, right? It's like Procter and Gamble coming out with a new soap product or something, and they want to determine what the public's perception of it, whether it'll sell or not at a particular price point. 1,100 respondents in a survey is it's not gonna work for them on a product that they want to put out on a worldwide basis, right? They got to have a larger number. And we know from what credit union officials in the Washington, D.C. area have told us that we need at least 3,000 for it to be representative and really give us an idea of what we have as far as support and interest and all those things. So we know that we have a little bit of work ahead of us because we're only halfway there of hitting that number of 3,000.
I just want to get some clarity in my head. That's 3,000 surveys out of 5,000 members?
No, it's 3,000 members that you have to have.
Oh, I thought you said it was 5,000 before.
No,
okay.
It's 3,000. Hey, I don't want to slow you down. If you want to get
No,
5,000 members, let's go for it.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it at 5,000.
There you go.
With the idea that we'll get 3,000 surveys back.
That would be fantastic.
Right. No, I agree. But yeah. So I mean, it's not. We're not just selling financial freedom here. We're selling an overall goal of establishing a financial institution here in the United States of America that was put together exclusively by Muslims, African American Muslims in particular. Who amongst the African American Muslim community would not want to be a part of that? That doesn't make any sense. And one of the things I like about taking this sort of position is that anything outside of the position that I've taken, if it's not in support of what I'm doing, I don't want to hear it. I'll do as the Quran tells me to do, is to look at it as being vain talk, give you the greetings, and step off. Because I don't have time for negativity. I don't have time for you asking me questions looking to don't ask me questions that when you and this is from Quran too. Don't ask me a question that if you knew the answer, it would distress you. So when I talk about us doing this, yes, I'd like to see this be more of an effort on the part of our community. That is the community of Imam W.D. Muhammad. The rest of the folk, I pray they'll come along, but you are not us. You are not like us. You have not been tested. We have been tested. We are the descendants of Africans who were brought here from the continent of Africa, not the country, the continent of Africa, and we represent those who survived the Middle Passage. No one else can say that but us. So you Syrian Muslims, you Palestinian Muslims, you Egyptian Muslims, you Muslims from Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan, none of you all, Turkey, none of you all can say that. You have not been tested. Not like us. Yes, I know the atrocities that are going on around the world, particularly over in Gaza, but you ain't been tested. You still get to build back the masjids that they bombed. You still get to put your scattered family back together. All the opportunities that you have to rebuild are there in front of you. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. We still struggling to get that right. And I want to move out on that which we have already been tested on. We can do this. I know we can do it. I mean, I absolutely know it, not just in my head. I'm not making this stuff up. It is in my heart to get this done. And not just for me. I ain't going to benefit from it. It's enough for me to know that we did this. That's all it means. It's like you accomplish something, and Allah says in Quran that it was pleasing and well-pleasing. It pleased him and it pleased us. That's good enough for me. I swear that's going to be good enough for me. And I am not interested in any role that I want to play. Man, I'm too old for that. What am I going to do? I be talking about people who still at 80 years old, they be hanging on, because they got something to say. Shut up, sit down, and let somebody else pick up that banner to carry it on, because this cannot be an effort that dies with me. So everything that I'm doing, I want to report back to this body. Whatever body we are, I want to report back to them, because whatever I'm doing, it cannot die with me. We're going to have to keep moving this thing forward until it happens, because, we don't. And at some point, we're going to have to raise people in this. I mean, I want my son to see me accomplish the goal that I set out, because only Allah knows he might be the one to pick up something that his father started doing. And the same thing applies to your children, your nieces, your nephews, your extended family. I want them to see what it is I'm doing, because they may be the ones who become inspired. And we've got all the examples. It was Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the last sermon on Mount Arafat. Some of the last words he said was for us to go out and for you to go out and tell others what you heard. Perhaps they may benefit for it more than you. So we got everything that we need. I've got everything that I need to know what to do. And what I don't have, trust me when I tell you, if we're working fisabilillah, Allah is going to give it to us. He's going to open them doors up, and there are going to be people coming out the woodwork that you didn't even know where that came from. I didn't even know you heard that. Yes, brother, I heard you. Yes, sister, I heard you when you said XYZ. And Allah is going to move them towards this effort to help us, because we're going to need the help. Man, I ain't never think I'd be talking about opening up a bank or credit union or any financial institution. That was never in that was never in my dreams. Yes, I wanted to be a successful entrepreneur, but I did not think part of that entrepreneurship was going to be a credit union. And I'm looking to be, for Graceline to become that trusted entity where we can literally start that movement that we've heard about, where we can get thousands of people to contribute to Graceline's community's effort to start a process of investments where we can get, I don't know, if 10,000 people put in $10 a month religiously, 10,000 people, $10 a month, whatever the math is on that every month that you've got, and be able to report out to those people what you did with the money and be able to show them with what they call it, that it's a new word, transparency, what's happening to their money. I mean, that is doable. That is doable for us. That's $100,000 a month. What, over $1 million a year? Close to $1.25 million a year? And you multiply those numbers twice over. Not 10,000, but 25,000. Now you're getting $250,000 every month. And be ready and prepared to move it into another instrument that people will be able to say, yeah, man, I've been giving up $10 a month to this group, and every time I turn around, they doing something new. We ain't just jacking it off. We're not just having that money go towards the administration of the money. That pisses me off. You get money, and before you can even do anything with it, now you want to spend X number of dollars so you can have an office and a receptionist. Then all of a sudden, now you got employees. And when you start looking at the bottom line, yeah, you may be getting in $1 million a year, but then you spending $250,000 of it just in overhead. No, that ain't how this is working. You got people now. Hell, my son has not been to work, literally has not been into the office in almost 2 months. The whole office has been working from home or from wherever they are. And I literally mean from wherever they are. Because in the last 2 months, this boy has been to Spain, to Germany, to the northern part of Spain, to Boston. Now he's in San Diego. I think in another week, 10 days, he's going to be in Turkey. And I asked his mother this morning, this boy ain't been to work. What he doing? And that's when she told me what's happening. Imam Tariq, I'm with you. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. From the first person that signed up to be a member with Graceline to where we are now, my understanding midway. How many years have that been? And what is it that was done to get us to that halfway mark that we can get the final number of 3,000, that what do we need to do? If I hope you all understand what I'm putting forth.
Yes.
I do, and I think Edward would be the best person to answer that question.
Right. So of the original, let's say magic 5 or 6 people that were around in the very beginning, I'm the only one that still continuously is involved in this meetings. Now, to be fair and honest, of those original 5 people, there have been 3 janazas. And the other brother is a pioneer who will turn 80 years old this year, right? And he has an ailing wife. So his non-participation is understood by me. He's one of my heroes. But in the beginning, one of the things that we did, other than invite people to come to our Sunday meetings, which were held under the auspices of BISME WDM, if any of you are familiar with that particular organization. It's another nonprofit, primarily people. Well, now it's really people from all over the country. It was initiated in Dallas by some brothers out of the Dallas masjid. But that's kind of where the idea started. Its genesis was the illness of Imam Qasim Ahmed, and the fact that we did not have anything in place financially to support our community when we had tragedies of the kind, health tragedy that he went through, what other brothers and sisters around the country, what happened to them. We had nothing. We had no knowledge base. There was just a lack of information on proper planning, financial intelligence, all of these things. So believe it or not, the initial idea was to start an insurance company so that we could insure our people and take some of the financial strain off an aging population, especially our imams and their wives, things of that nature. When we investigated it, believe it or not, it's much, much easier to start a credit union or a bank than it is to open an insurance company that can operate in all 50 states and U.S. territories. Because insurance laws vary so much from state to state. The problem that you go through, you get licensed in the 2 toughest states to get licensed are New York and California. They have the strictest guidelines to make sure the public is protected. You can get licensed in those states, and it takes a while. It's like getting a charter for a credit union. But then even after you do that, then you've got to go state by state and pay those state fees to be able to operate it in those particular states. We investigated and found out it was much easier process to go down the credit union route and then add additional services. The health insurance, life insurance, things like that are ancillary to the credit union that the credit union can offer to its members. So that was the genesis of it, was just some issues within our community and our inability to deal with those issues for people that we loved. That's how we got started. And our biggest single day sign up was, I want to say this was 2018. So it'll be 8 years ago this coming December. We set up a booth at a huge, and this is pre, COVID. Huge. There was a huge event in Dallas around Kwanzaa. And everybody who has any kind of a nonprofit or the hospital district, education district, whatever, has a booth set up out there, sharing information with the public. And you'd have 50, 100,000 people come through over a 3-day period, that main weekend around Kwanzaa. Of course, Kwanzaa's 7 days, but usually there's a weekend in there that State Fair of Texas, the fairgrounds, one of the larger buildings are set up in there. We signed up over 300 people over that weekend saying they were supportive of the credit union. And we haven't we've had some we did some smaller events the next year. I think we did a Savior's Day event in Dallas around one of the large African American Afrocentric bookstores, and got another 35 to 50 people to sign up. But we here haven't done anything like that since 2019. And, obviously all of us are different places around the country. So we haven't, other than to try to do things at Time to Be Grateful, so on and so forth, we haven't really had an opportunity to do anything where you're going to have that number of people, tens of thousands of people coming through, walking through, picking up information, stopping to talk, things of that nature, where you could sell them the idea, basically. I don't think haven't had an opportunity to do that. So it's been kind of hit and miss. But again, we're up to just right at 1,500. Just got to keep working at it. And if we have an opportunity at some large event where we know that the numbers are going to be staggering, and they're primarily African American, and hopefully a lot of them are both Muslim and Afrocentric, then I think we have an opportunity again to probably pull in some large numbers.
Hey, Edward, may I mention something else at this point since
Sure.
you said a large event?
Mm-hmm.
October 30th through the 1st, there will be the 2026 Community Development and Leadership Conference to be held.
Conveners, yeah,
Yes, the conveners of it. Well, it's a leadership conference,
right.
but it's been put forth by the conveners of imams. Will be held in Norfolk, Virginia Beach area.
Mm-hmm.
That might be another opportunity to get some more people to sign up.
So
Then,
I'm aware of that, and there has been some outreach as to whether or not I wanted to be there, if Graceline wanted to be there. My first question would be bang for buck. Is there going to be more than 5,000 people in attendance there?
I don't think it's going to be more than 5,000 people there because of the things that's set forth based on accommodations, et cetera,
Right.
and everything. But I also want to make mention that the Detroit National Annual Convention is going to take place, which has been held in Detroit every year. I've gone to that in times gone by, like 3-4 years, at least 3 years in a row. And I think Michael, if he's still here, he was with me and some more brothers at the same time we went.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and of course, the Time to Be Grateful is coming up
Right.
in December.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my fear.
Edward, let me
Okay,
just make
go ahead.
a small correction here, because it kind of threw me when you said it. And let me, I just want to contribute this in case you want to change that 2018 Kwanzaa program you spoke of. I did a presentation in Greensboro in 2019, and I was invited into the Graceline community by the brother from Texas with I think it was the THC construction company.
Right. Yeah. Rahman.
Right.
Rahman Kareem. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in late 2019, early 2020.
Right.
So had Had you all already started a membership process then?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Then I was unaware of that. Okay.
Yeah, it was under the auspices of Bisme WDM in the beginning.
Yes, it
Right.
was.
Yeah.
Hassan, was it Hassan?
Well,
David
that's that.
Hassan?
So the two people that started Bisme WDM were Imams Muhammad Samad and Sheikh Ansari, Sheikh
Okay.
Abdul Ansari. They started Bisme WDM. The
Okay.
rest of us, myself, Rahman Kareem, who invited you to Greensboro because he was helping them with that development there, that building project that they had. We were all invited in by those two pioneer brothers that I told you about,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So both of them had been in the first, had made the transition. I mean, they were in love with, you mentioned Imam WD Muhammad, and they're putting their face on the floor. They love the Imam. So they were trying to do any kind of initiatives, and they were very close. Both of them were very close to Imam Qasim Ahmed, who had been in Dallas, had been the Imam in Dallas early on,
Right.
before Imam Yahya became the
Okay.
Imam in Dallas. So they were very close with Imam Qasim, and we all made a personal journey down to Houston, to sit with him when he was hospitalized,
Right.
down
Right.
in Houston.
And
So
he in particular is the reason that I was invited in, because I did a presentation in Greensboro where I raised him up as the reason why I was there. Because when he passed, he left his family in dire straits. And
correct,
the Muslim community had to raise money for them. And you're right, it was initially based on insurance,
yeah,
because what I had proposed was everybody to learn is that on a national level, with our imams, if you're not going to offer them a salary, that is a salary that's commensurate with them taking care of their families, then the very least you could do is provide them with, at a minimum, a $50,000 insurance policy that the masjid pays for.
right,
And the beneficiaries would be, his wife and his children. That's the very least you could do. So yeah, I mean, so I stand corrected. So if you say it's 2018, that's when it was. I didn't come in until 2019, 2020. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I think you came in, Imam Tariq. I can't remember exactly when you came in, but it was not that long after that.
I,
Imam
well,
Adam
I,
Bia was invited in
yeah,
pretty
well,
pretty early on.
I think I came. Well, you all offered it to me early on. I can recall, but I didn't accept.
Okay.
And it came to me again, and so here I am with you all now. But I just want to go back to another thing. I want to request that we might need to, or whoever is the administrator of that social media page, start doing promotions there of invites for persons to become a member of Graceline. Um, because I think that's where a lot of people are today on social media. And I know the social media page that I use mostly to promote my product is Facebook. And there's other platforms out there too. I use LinkedIn, but I use LinkedIn for another thing where for me doing my entrepreneur presentations mainly. I use LinkedIn for that, but I also use Facebook to promote my entrepreneurs presentation on AM 360 and my other product that I have to promote. And I found that when I do those promotions, I get a better response from people
Mhm.
one way or the other that they actually make a purchase, et cetera, compared to when I don't promote.
Right.
Imam Tariq,
Yes, sir.
have I ever sent you Graceline's trifold brochure, the membership
Uh,
brochure?
I don't think so.
Okay. Um, can you have my phone number, right?
Yes, sir.
Can you text me your mailing address
Yes, sir.
and
I will.
I'll send you a few of them just through first class mail.
Okay.
Okay. And that may help you in your promotion, uh, especially if you were to post something on Facebook that's just 1 minute telling people to go to Graceline Community.org and register as a member, because membership is free.
Well, you know
And
that. Thank you for that, because what I can do from my entrepreneurs, I would rather do it from my entrepreneurs page. Do it that way because again, we
okay,
can't promote businesses on AM 360.
okay, all right.
Uh, but uh, but uh, but on the well, prior to me going to AM 360, I was doing those presentations live on Facebook every Saturday. But being on Facebook, I actually had a presentation where that was set up just to promote people businesses, and I promoted them as sponsors of the entrepreneurs presentation. So I do in the near future. I do have plans of starting back on Facebook too. But yeah, go ahead and do that, and I'll get that to you.
I'll do that.
Yes, sir.
And also, I think since you raised that, um, I would um, I would support an effort, and I don't know how this could be done, but I don't necessarily look at promoting people to become members of Graceline, which is a which is a which is a 501c3. It's not actually a business per se.
Mm,
I mean, we're not we're right now we're not we're raising we're raising membership. We're not, I mean, if you happen to go to the website and donate, God bless you.
Yeah, I
But
think on the AM 360 note, you can talk about Graceline all you want to, because any nonprofit can promote the work of any other nonprofit across any medium.
okay.
well, now one of the reasons. Let me go back and add one of the reasons the allowance is not there. If my understanding is correct, because is because of we live streaming on YouTube at the same time.
Now, it doesn't matter. I mean, when I say any medium, it means
Hmm.
any social media, any TV, any radio, any broadcast at all. Any nonprofit can talk about another nonprofit
Okay.
at any time.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no restrictions on nonprofits mentioning either their partnership with
Mm,
another nonprofit's work. We can go on. I could be on AM 360 and talk about what the United Way does. I could be on AM 360 and talk about the work of Coalition for Good Government. I could be on AM 360 and talk about a masjid, which is a registered 501c3 that happens to be in Nashville, Tennessee.
mm,
Right? It's an independent entity that's registered as a 501c3. It just happens to be a religious institution. I could talk about the League of Jewish Women and their work, because they're a nonprofit. So we don't have that restriction when it comes to nonprofits.
okay.
You just can't go
Thank
on there
you.
and talk about Joe's tire shop.
All right, that's good.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
This is Patricia. I'm on my phone now because I'm on the road. So if you see a 609 number, we can still be candid. It's just me.
Please
We got-
be very candid. This is what I love. Candid is my friend. So, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, our promotion of self, I mean, we have to do it, but I think there's a lot of people in our community that fall into one or two camps. And please, anybody correct me if I'm wrong. Number one, they don't understand the process of charting a credit union. So they don't really know how they can help or what anything that they do would be beneficial about toward moving the process along. That's one thing. The other thing is we alluded to earlier, and this falls on us as much as it does on anybody else in the community, is the lack of leadership. We can't push that off on other people. In what we're trying to do with Graceline. You know, a lot what you were saying, Imam Talib, about dedicating more of your time and energy toward the effort. It's the same for each and every one of us to the extent that we can. Is that you have to accept a leadership role in making sure each one of us has to that this message gets out that what we're trying to do and what the process is, and the fact that we need your help, and the fact that we need you to do these things to help us along, and all that, with the whys attached to it, right? And the constancy attached to it. It's not I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this tomorrow, and then maybe I'll do it again in October or whatever. There has to be consistency to it. And yeah, we're doing it without a huge advertising budget, right? And all those things, and maybe we're doing it without the best understanding of all the nuances of social media that's available to us and how to use it in the best way and all that, because we're not experts at that. But we do have to assume accountability and responsibility for each and every one of us being a leader in the effort. So, and look for opportunities. You know, I may have said a few minutes ago, I may have said something about there not being 5,000 participants at this event and that event. Well, okay, I don't care. Maybe there's 200 participants there. And if you happen to be there, guide some people through becoming members. Right? Incremental progress is still progress.
Let me ask this question real quick, since it was mentioned. What, and maybe this will require a larger campaign, but what do you all think we need to do, for example, to get the Council of Imams under the leadership of Imam W.D. Muhammad to encourage all of the people who they know, the emails that they send out, the blast and the constant contacts and the invites and all that, to get them to encourage all of their contacts to become members of Graceline. The same thing would apply to those AM 360 programs. If you're not already a member, join, with us. If I'm not mistaken, Sister Fitra Muhammad's Study Al Islam has some kind of advertising mechanism that we could tap into. That all we ask is that you join GracelineCommunityInc.org, and this is going to what else is going to help in that process is having and be able to say to them, the only thing we want from you is your name, email address, city, and zip code. Everything else is optional. But those things, name, first name, last name, email address, city, and zip code. And if you want to know why we want the city and zip code, it's to help us to determine where most of our membership is located, because where that is where we would be looking to open up a brick and mortar credit union.
Mm.
It's that simple. I mean, it's that 30-second elevator speech.
Well, Imam Talib, I know that I sent, me being the convener for the Southern section, I do know I sent it invite. I brought it to all the attention of the imams in the Southern section. I'm trying to recall if I gave that same information to the other seven other conveners. But yes, that is a good thing to do. Draft up
listen,
something so we can send it to them.
I mean, no offense to anyone, but this is a matter of not just sending this out, but also insisting that you become a member. You can't call yourself a practicing Muslim if you're not a member of GracelineCommunityInc.org.
So
I mean,
I would love to hear, Friday after Jumu'ah when they're doing the announcements.
That's right.
Jumu'ah, right? I would love to hear the imam say exactly that.
Yes.
And then I would love to read reactions on the people's faces that are out there.
Look, I mean, this is, I mean, listen, this is a no holds barred effort. That's how serious this is. That's how serious we need to take it. Listen, sometimes we have to be dragged kicking and screaming.
I agree.
And I'm looking for the equivalent in the Quran, but in the Christian vernacular, you always, well, I don't know if you hear it anymore now, but when I was coming up, the Christian vernacular was linger long, but come you must.
Mm.
Huh?
That's true.
I mean, that was, when I was coming up, that was popular. And it could be used in all different kind of ways. I mean, there were houses of worship that used it whenever they talked about, Isa ibn Maryam. If you ain't been baptized, linger long, but come you must. You're gonna have to come this way. And that's, I mean, sometimes, not all the time. And this is something that I'm working on. And if you all can help me work on it, God bless you. One of the things that I'm desperate to acquire is, how would the Prophet ﷺ approach this? When he's trying to build something, when he's trying to bring the community towards his way of thinking. Now, his was prophetic. So there was much, it was difficult for him at first, but it became easier because Allah opened the doors for him. And I'm looking for that language, I'm looking for that opportunity where we can address our community with that language that Allah will send to us, because I'm not disillusioned in this process. If we're able to build up a 5,000 membership base, it's going to be the will of Allah. It's not going to be anything that any one of us may have done. I mean, Allah may use us as the vessel to do it, but it's going to be Allah to bring these people in. Yes, sir. Ma'am Tariq, I see your hand
Well,
up.
thank you all. Again, and maybe I missed this, but if I did, forgive me. There would be some people who won't go to the website to sign up. Is there anything that one can get that, hey, I got this sign up list for et cetera, et cetera? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
A yellow pad and a pen.
Okay, then I just needed to know, can I do it that way then? Because okay.
Yeah.
And then you
pass
can
around
either
a clipboard.
you can either upload that information yourself, or if you get it to me, I will upload it to the membership list.
Okay, well that's all I needed confirmation on then.
Right. So my whole thing is, if you I was just thinking this, if you're able to do that in Biloxi, then the blessings that are coming your way could be insurmountable. I mean, it could just be almost too much for you to handle. Because I'm thinking of courage, and the courage of an imam in front of his congregation, the believers in his masjid, to say those things and to get them to take action. Of what percentage of the imams in our association will have the courage to do that?
And I got one more ask. Okay. If I get those other half people, the first credit union has to be opened up here. I just joking. That's just joking on that part, but seriously though, thank you for answering.
Don't worry about that, brother, because that's an ask. That's an ask we've all made.
About it first right over here, but back to being serious. Back to being serious. That I just want to stay in the boundary of what the rules are, so we can do it that way. That I can record the names, et cetera, and send them and send them or whatever they get put there. That's fine. I go to work on that.
And the name, like I said, the first name, last name, email address, city, state, and zip code.
Right.
That's all. And if they want to know why do you need my city, state, and zip code, it's because that is going to determine based on the number of people where we're going to look to open up a brick and mortar credit union.
Yes.
That's why we.
Those
if I can make a statement.
Yes, please go ahead, sister.
Yes, in terms of what Imam Tariq was just saying, it's going to take us that are passionate to plant the seeds, because as far as depending on the imams, we just have to be frank and just say to ourselves, one monkey don't stop no show. Because
that's right.
If we are dependent on them to do it, they don't have the passion. They don't even have the passion to talk about marriage, the institution of marriage in their Jumas. And they know they have all these single people sitting up there, and single brothers, and very few imams talk about that, and that's an issue in our community. We need more marriages in order to build more strong communities. But that's another thing. I remember when I was living in Trenton on the school board, they had 4 Jews throughout the entire state of New Jersey who pushed and scraped and sweated to get the Holocaust to be part of the mandatory curriculum from 8th to 12th grade. And they did it. It was only 4 of them in the entire state of New Jersey. So it's just going to take us few to plant those seeds in whatever way we can, or boots on the ground, and get the thing done. And of course, when it catches fire, the imams are going to jump on, but that's on them, you know. But anyway, I just wanted to make that statement. Thank you for letting me blow the wax out of your ear again.
Now that's perfect because that's exactly my sentiment. It really does, and this goes beyond just talking about the credit union. This is in all of our communities that if we're going to sit around and wait on the imams who already, especially those imams that are professionally employed, to be able to keep themselves going, because we're not paying them, and then they got to prepare and lead a community as well. If we're waiting on them for initiatives to start, we're going to be waiting. That's all we're going to be doing is waiting. We have to take a lot of initiative ourselves. And I don't think most of our moms have to be dragged kicking and screaming into supporting something once it's going. I think they'll come willingly and add, you know, whatever they can to the particular effort. But we have to be the initiators. And I'm 100% okay with that. 100% okay with that. So I appreciate what Imam Tariq wants to do. Let's get
No,
busy.
because
Let's get busy.
I need this credit union for myself personally.
Understood. Yes. Adam?
Yes.
Adam,
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. This isn't part of the meeting, but Sister Patricia, if you can give me your email address or I got a message from the brother in Milwaukee that he received your $50 donation for the school, but he didn't
Yes,
have
sir.
he needs an email address or something so he can send you an acknowledgement. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I'll get it to you. We were in ATL Sisters um, fashion show that is coming back. It's been down for a few years, but it's coming back. And it's just people from all over was there, and they were doing at Juma. They were taking donations. You know, they said this is the first Sunday, and we're taking our donations for the school, and I said Alhamdulillah, and of course the imam announced it. You know, so they're pumping it up down there in ATL to keep their schools sustained and you know, running properly. So I was happy to see that. But I had already sent mine, you know, the month because we had Atlanta the month before this one.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
yes, sir. All right, so I'll get that information to you. Thank you, Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that, brother.
Oh no, that's perfect. That's why we're here. You know, to facilitate things of that particular nature. Because this is about finances and money and credit unions and all that stuff. But ultimately, the reason we're doing this is to have a support system for our community, right? I mean, it's I don't know if you want to call it a foundation or however you want to describe it. It's to be a resource for our community to help us through lots of issues that do involve money and planning and things of that nature. And anything that we can do to facilitate that, any communication, sharing of information, that's what a meeting like this is all about. You know, once the credit union is open, there'll be lots of board meetings that have nothing to do with but report sheets and, you know, looking at loans that are in good shape and, you know, all these different kinds of things. This kind of a meeting is about overall health of the entire community, our role in it, you know, obviously working to make our organization stronger to be more supportive. But at the same time, we're not in a vacuum. It's all about us. No, this is about the community as a whole. So yeah, I welcome any of that conversation and any way we can help connect and support and all that. That's what it's all about with me. That is it.
And then we have to trust that Allah's with any effort that's for the good of serving humanity and for
Yes.
serving, period. So it's going to be slow and frustrating at first and all like that, just like the 9-month process of Umi when she's carrying it. She may want to rush it, they want to whatever they want to do, but Allah, it's a process, and then it's going to be it's coming. But the light is at the end of the tunnel. We just keep praying and keep pushing, and if it's something is good, which it is good, and we're not thinking of ourselves, we're thinking of it all because this hurts me the way, or like Imam Talib was saying, we build these masjid, but we have nothing to sustain them, and then here we go with milking the pioneers. We have to keep the air on. We have to keep the lights on. And they have the spirit of do for self, so they pull out their little pennies, and it's just not fair. This not fair to the believers that are have that type of spirit. Just to drain them dry. We have to have commercial businesses and whatever. Our prophet was a businessman, and so when are we going to pick up that back? Our feet are not touching the ground. We have to be realistic. We live in a world. But anyway, I'll stop there. I don't want to get started.
Now that's a good start because yeah, I'm happy that nobody has declared that I'm that holy that my feet don't touch the ground. I don't know if I want to be there, but yeah, I mean the elevation that Imam W.D. Muhammad gave us, and truly he did give us elevation. He lifted us up very high. His respect for our community around the world and within this country was at a highly elevated stage. I don't know if that's true anymore. But you sure can't tell it by talking to a lot of people. But anyway, I digress.
But
So,
the thing of it is, Edward, this is not, and to show that the successes with our Lord, this is not a numbers thing. There are a lot of things that require numbers, but like I said, that last address that the Imam gave publicly, if you've got two or three that work with you, be happy because Allah is going to support that two or three.
Mm.
And we're reminded about Prophet Muhammad and Abu Bakr being in the cave. People looking to kill them, but they came out and they went to a fertile area, Mecca. Where the people were ready for what they had. To offer, and the rest is history. So we used to say in the church, one with God is enough. That's still the case. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. The power of a commitment to Allah's will and plan for us, and the credit union is a part of that will and plan for our economic stability going into the future, foundational growth, institutional growth, all of that. God is with us to do that, but a certain amount of dues are going to have to be paid, and but the commitment. If we ask Allah to look, this is a big job, and you don't have a whole lot of people that can see the job or see where they can get in to fit in. They have to come to understand by the movement of the small group of how they can get in to fit in. And so it's just a matter of seeking Allah's help and then going after what we need, praying to Allah and then going to get what we need. and Allah has sent us help. You know, he's constantly, and that's another promise. Wherever you are, I will bring you together. That hasn't changed. That's still real. You know,
Right.
wherever the Graceline membership is, Allah is gonna. If we go out to get them, Allah will bring them to us. You know, that's my belief. You know, and
Go forth, whether light or heavy, and strive with your wealth and your lives in the way of Allah.
that
That
was brought. That I was reading the Quran and the
Yep.
message to the black man when I came in 1969, and that particular ayat really moved my soul. You know,
Right.
when I
Right.
read it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the one. That's the one we all need to keep in mind.
Yeah,
Go
Allahu
that's
forth
Akbar.
lightly equipped or heavily equipped,
Allahu Akbar.
and
Yes.
strive and struggle with your goods and your persons in the cause of Allah. That is best for you if you but knew.
Yes, sir.
yeah. That last part about your lives and
That's
all of
That's
that
right.
right.
stuff, that's the
Yes.
toughest
Everything,
part.
man.
That's the toughest part, man.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yep.
That's the toughest part, and that's where a lot of people fall.
well, you have to ask God for that help, man. I'm a witness. You know,
You got to
it's
be a
tough.
believer.
It's meant to be tough. You know, Allah says there's another saying. You know, if the road was short, if the
Right.
distance was short, and
If it
it
was
was an
easy,
easy
everybody
path,
be on the road.
everybody be on that path.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
No,
right.
I agree. I agree with you. I'm just saying.
yeah.
I see what I witness on the ground.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You got to see it. But
I know what I'm witnessing on the ground is a lot of people coming up to that line and
Mm-hmm.
turning around, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
that's why the Imam said, if you got two or three to work with, be happy. Everybody don't have that stamina, man. You know, for
no,
whatever reason, Allah says most of the people don't know.
no, they don't. No, they don't. I
Well,
mean,
is it more that they don't know or they don't believe it?
Well, that might be a part of the translation, the commentary.
oh,
Alhamdulillah.
Man, because trust, we talk about trust, you know,
mm,
and I don't trust you, you half trust me,
right.
and we see each other every day, and
Mm-hmm.
you have no vision of God, you got to trust that when you walk into that dark cave that may or may not have a way out on the other end, and there's no turning back, you're gonna make it.
Yeah, Sister Patricia mentioned family and marriage. Uh, some of our circumstances, we have trauma issues from family, dysfunctional families, and abandonment, lack of trust. All of that kind of stuff is in the stew.
Of
Uh,
course.
and so that can account for, like, this sister, may God bless her and grant her paradise. She was in the class of Imam Muhammad on Sundays, and she said, Michael, Imam asked me after class if I would help this person. But before he finished, before he let me get away, he said, now I have to tell you, this person is not a team player. She told me, Michael, I tried, but she just didn't want to work with me.
Yeah.
we got folks that is just not team players.
Yeah. I agree. So this coming week, I will be back on the path of contacting existing credit unions, see if there are any opportunities for us to move into management of said credit union. And I know, Imam Talib, that you're going to be making some changes to the website as well.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I'm working on today. And you all, in fact, I started working on it yesterday when I got permission from Omar to use the 50-30, the 50-30-20 plan PowerPoint presentation that he did. And I got the list of the Clara Muhammad schools in Nashville, Memphis, and Milwaukee from Adam, because if any of you recall on our website, a standard banner at the bottom of every page is the 100 at 50 logo. And I wanted to have the web providers to add those Sister Clara Muhammad school cities to that banner. The thought being that the most industrious ones of us will reach out to those schools and offer a donation, irrespective of whether it's 150 or not. It can certainly be tagged that way, and we would encourage that. But I thought it would be prudent to add those 3 cities to that list. And there's some other changes that I'm going to be proposing, and there is going to be a question to them as to whether or not they have the ability to be able to run, I would tell you, no more than 3 continuous banners across the top of our webpage as they are perusing the site. And we can, I'm going to start off with offering 3 different things, or maybe just 2 different things as a banner. But I don't know if they have that capability. But should they have it, then that's what I'm going to ask them to do. So yeah, let me get this website finished up. Finished up first, and then I am going to, for my benefit, I'm going to list for myself those personal and business things that I need to take care of in the immediate, so that I'm not undertaking anything else, and then be able to spend my time and focus on first building up our membership at Graceline, and thinking of various ways that we can do that. So that's going to be what I'll be doing in the immediate. Now, having said that, Edward, I seem to recall, did you send us out a draft letter of some sort? I would tell you maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I think it was not this past week, but the week before.
Okay.
And had some corrections done. Sister Kalita did some corrections to it. And I think the final format with the changes that she made, upgrades, probably pretty good. I'm going to start using that tomorrow as I get into I had sent out probably about 30 emails to 30 different credit unions with a positive response from one credit union. That
Okay.
State Employees Credit Union of North Carolina responded positively,
Oh, okay.
wanting to agreeing to work with us in our financial education
Okay.
process, and Omar's following up with them
Okay.
on that.
Alhamdulillah.
But I haven't gotten any positive response from anybody that would invite us for a conversation, about joining them in their credit union, potentially taking over management of credit union, so on and so forth. No
Okay.
positive response yet. So that's why I asked for assistance in maybe perfecting that letter
Right.
to a
Right.
certain extent. So I think the letter's better, more direct to the point. So we'll see. I mean, again, I'm going to start tomorrow morning. I've got my list together already to send those emails out early in the morning, and we'll see what the response is.
Okay. I know it came in. I have not had a chance to review it, but I will, inshallah. And
Yeah, well,
I'm not.
there are some people who relish very happily the idea of helping me in correcting my shortcomings. And she jumped right on it, and I was very thankful that she did,
Okay.
because the
Alhamdulillah.
suggestions that she made were excellent. So
Okay. Yeah, she's become your chat GPT.
yeah, in some cases she's better than ChatGPT.
Okay. Okay. Alhamdulillah.
But then again, I am one of those men that gets corrected by women quite often. So
yeah, I know.
quite often.
Yeah, I know what that's like. I'm married to one, so I know.
Understood.
Yeah, and for those who may be in the same position I was, that letter went out on August the 5th. Yeah, at least that's what yeah, August the 5th. So everybody can take a look at it when they get a chance. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, I'm a little.
So it's about that time. It's almost 12:30 here, so I know that you all on the East Coast. Tour
Yep.
has probably already come in. If not, it's about to, a couple of 3
Yes,
minutes.
sir. Yep.
So Imam Talib, if you don't mind, why don't you close us out for this Sunday?
Yes, sir. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbana hasnatan fil akhirati hasanatan akina adhaban. Oh Allah, give us good in this world, good in the after, and defend us from the torment of the fire. Alhamdulillahi Rabbi Alameen. All right, group.
Right. Wonderful. Alhamdulillah. And
Yes,
look forward. Everybody have a great upcoming week, and look forward to seeing your bright, shining face and hearing your voices
inshallah.
next Sunday at the latest.
Inshallah. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.